The next challenge was babysocat. It says, I love sockets, cats, socat, and ls. Socket version on remote is 1741, and we're given a binary. A zip file. The zip file has a run file and a challenge file and a netcat port. So if we look, this is the run file. So it says, give me your command. It'll read it. It's going to construct this string exec chal ls input, and then it's going to call flag this. So it's going to set this environment variable. Then it's going to call socat. I think this means standard in, but we're going to look at the docs. It's going to call the exec function and then redirect, I think that's standard air into standard out. I could be wrong though. I think that standard out goes into standard air is redirected into standard out. Cool, let's look at the binary. So this is going to be called with, chal is going to be called with ls and input. And so if we look at this, it expects arguments. If the flag environment variable is not set, it gets mad. Then it just calls directly with the arguments. Okay. So a couple of thoughts. This challenge took me a couple hours to solve. I wasn't really sure how to tackle it at first. So I thought maybe we can do ls anywhere. Well, we can pass any argument we want to ls. So at first I thought this might be like one of those GTFO bins. We can go here and we can try ls. But there wasn't anything obvious, and then we can also look at socat. I'll come back to these in a second. But at first, I was just reading through the man pages for ls. Maybe there's some way we can pass an argument such that, like, if it matches a file, it'll execute something afterwards. I couldn't quite find anything. I was also thinking maybe you can, like, read proc self environ. Oops, proc self environ. And actually, I wonder if that'll, no, actually, yeah, let's see if we can. I think it goes like that. Yeah. So maybe you could like match some keyword within a file with ls. And if so, maybe you could start reading out the flag from reading this file. Those were the ideas I had. I couldn't quite get anything. Obviously, I didn't get anything like that to work. It seems like since the challenge was called babysocat, we needed to exploit something within socat. But that was the first thing I tried. Maybe there was an easy win with just abusing ls parameters. Or like, you know, LSing a flag that contains some contents, but I couldn't find anything. So the next step was reading the docs for socat. I found this article, highly recommend it if you're not familiar with socat. I know it's used a lot in CTFs, but I've never actually played with it before. This article was amazing. It has nice diagrams. It shows how everything works. Actually, this is good. So we can see that it was called, our socat was called socat dash input and then some redirects. And so we can see that this is the format. So socat, there's no options in ours, but then we have address 1. This will be standard in. And then this is address 2. This is the exec. And so what socat is going to do, it's going to bind these two, the standard in and standard outs to each other. We're calling exec instead of TCP, so we can see what exec looks like. And I have it here. So it forks a subprocess that establishes communication with its parent process and invokes the specific program with exec CVP, blah, blah, blah. So reading more, I read a good chunk of this doc and that other doc, and I found out that there are these things called option groups. So you can pass options at the end of this. So we're going to get this, and so let's say our input is like star or dot or something like that. We can pass in options here, like option 1 is equal to A, option 2 is equal to B, and these will be parsed by socat. So next was going through, I think exact options, the exact option group, going through, so we could set the path to something, we can set the login, we can set pipes. These are all the options we're able to set. I was hoping that one of these would allow us somehow to leak addresses. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out anything here either. Previous. But we also get the options for FD, socket, exec, fork, and term IOs. Like I said, I thought this was where I spent maybe another good hour thinking that maybe we were supposed to use something from an option group here. But I couldn't get anything. So then I started going to GitHub. I looked at previous examples of socat, just in every repo I could find, every shell script. And I came along a couple of interesting objects, just like searching through how other people use it. There's a couple things. There's a percent operator, which I think joins two of the input types. And there's also another operator, this exclamation point, that I think also allows you to like map inputs to each other or something like that. I don't quite understand. I guess it's called a dual address specification. So eventually that was the solution I came up with. I think I just took a screenshot. Yeah, so you run the solve script. So I have a script that automatically solves this proof of work thing, and then it just dropped me into interactive mode. The command I ran was exclamation point, exec env. And so, like I said, again, I don't quite understand how it works. It looks like it's doing whatever dual address specification is, where data is being read from a source and written to a different sink. So I guess data is being read from the env and then written into ls, but doesn't really make any sense. But it prints out the flag, and that's all we care for. It looks like this was not the intended solution. It looks like, reading on Discord, I think the challenge author said something about like they don't check for quotes, and so maybe we could have inserted something else, but I didn't investigate that. I just used the dual address operator. But anyways, fun challenge. I'm really just excited to read the docs for SOCAT. Looks like a very powerful tool.